So I'm just going to just jump right in because what we're talking about specifically is social selling. And even though this training here is targeted to financial advisors, that's the key demographic that I'm sort of looking to speak with. In fact, anybody can take advantage of the tips that I'm going to provide today. So if you're not a financial advisor and you're just here for general LinkedIn training, welcome. And for those financial advisors out there, also welcome. And hopefully this is beneficial for all involved. So we're talking about the biggest mistakes that people can make when using social media. And so a little bit of background about me is my name is Leslie Hughes. Obviously, you wouldn't join me if you didn't know who I was, but I am there's a lot of different roles that I have. One of them is I'm an author. So I wrote a book called Create, Connect, Convert, which really helps professionals up their brand. And really there's about 25 lessons in there to help empower you to tell your story without feeling like you're bragging. I've worked with clients such as Investment Planning Council, Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. I've worked with Children's Wish Foundation, TVO, and a lot of other companies to really help them up their brand. Well, they have a great brand themselves, but to really help them use channels like LinkedIn, whether I'm writing LinkedIn profiles for some of their executives or just helping them get up to speed with how to use LinkedIn from a training perspective. So I've been in the digital landscape for a long time. In fact, 20 years I've been in digital marketing, and I started up my company in 2010 to really focus specifically on social media. So in addition to being an author and a trainer and a keynote speaker, I also teach part-time at a college. And so I wear a lot of different hats. And as you probably can tell, I like to talk. So that's why I'm doing this webinar for you guys. I've also been featured on TV. So a couple of years ago, I was on The Social talking about how to maximize your digital presence. And I've also been quoted on CBC Radio, 680 News, and a bunch of other channels as well. Okay, so why are we here? So we are talking about why is social selling so important and why is it important to you specifically as a professional, as an advisor. I'm going to talk a little bit about the top mistakes that people and advisors make when they're using social media. And then I'm going to give you some top tips on the next steps to advance your career and get more opportunities as well. I want you to be sure to stay to the very end. I'm not going to do a whole lot of intro. I know there's a lot of other webinar people out there that do a whole lot. It's like 20 minutes of an intro. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get to the nitty gritty, but hopefully you'll stick around to the very end because I have a free worksheet that I would love to send to you that'll help you to take advantage of today's lesson as well. All right, so I'm sure you are probably here because you're frustrated with LinkedIn. You're probably feeling overwhelmed by it all. And the challenges of social really are, it's either too risky, you're nervous about making a mistake online. You might be afraid that you're wasting too much time, that this is a huge time suck. Thankfully, LinkedIn, out of all the social channels, probably takes the least amount of time to net the best results. It's not relevant for my business. Well, I'm sure this probably goes without saying, but social media is everywhere nowadays. Everybody, pretty much everybody, not literally everybody, but most people are using social media in some way, shape, or form in order to vet clients, to vet professionals. And so we're going to talk about the importance of that and how to audit your digital footprint as well. Face-to-face is the way that we do business. I've heard this quite a bit, and this is absolutely true. So LinkedIn and social selling does not replace any of the tools that you're already doing. It just enhances it. So I'm going to show you how, not exactly the deep dive on the how, but some of the tips on how to actually use this as a tool in order to drive those conversations from online into face-to-face connections. There is no measurable ROI. Well, this has been something that a lot of marketers have been struggling with in social media for a number of years. But as a marketer, I know that there is definitely not just one, there's no silver bullet, there's no one direct way that people, that sales don't happen just instantaneously. There is a way to measure your return on investment. It's a return on time, and it is part of your toolkit. So it's definitely something to invest in insofar as time and effort, because you will eventually get your return on investment. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. And the last word, particularly for those of you that are in financial services, is the big word compliance. I've worked with quite a few people in the financial services industry. I know that there is a barrier here for compliance. Thankfully, that's changing a little bit. And so as long as you're working with your compliance partner and you're following your rules, your social media policy, you should be good. So I err on the side of caution, but at the same time, you can't throw out this as an opportunity for you to leverage LinkedIn and social selling as a part of your tool in your toolkit. All right, so what is social selling? Well, really, without getting into my teacher speak, without becoming the professor, the really social selling is really about relationship building. So what LinkedIn and social selling allows you to do is it allows you to have this line of sight with your audience that you actually never had before. And so part of it is both inbound. So I'm sure that when anybody is looking for you, even if you're getting a referral from someone, then they're going to go and they're going to Google your name, right? I mean, if you go on to anytime you have a problem or have an issue, chances are probably 94% of the time you are Googling that person, the company, to see, do I trust this person? And do I want to work with them? And so what social selling allows you to do, number one, is have a really strong brand that tells an effective story. And the second part about it is it's building out your network so that you actually have an audience of people who are interested in what you have to say as a brand, and also just building that network. And some people might remember what a Rolodex is. Sadly, I'm at that age where I do know what a Rolodex is. My students at the college have no idea what a Rolodex is. So it is building out that network of quality connections so that you have a line of sight to look for opportunities. So that's really the fundamental of what social selling is. And again, it doesn't replace anything that you're doing existingly. It just enhances and adds onto it. So that's what I said. Social selling doesn't replace as a process. It just enhances what you're already doing. So why you need to up your game? Well, as I mentioned, like it's people are looking for you. They're actively seeking you out. And individuals that actually use social selling actually achieve 66% of higher quotas than just traditional selling alone. You're more educated. And in fact, your clients, your prospects are more educated than ever before as well. And so why you need to up your social selling game is that social media is with us and it's not going away. So you need to be mindful of using the right channel at the right time, connecting with the right audience, which is why we're talking about LinkedIn. And social selling is also important because you're probably aware that most people aren't even answering their phone anymore. I know I don't, because the only people that call me unsolicited are usually people that are trying to spam me or they're trying to sell me something. So most of us are not even answering our phone anymore, which is why social selling is also so very important. You're building those relationships in advance proactively so that you can drive those conversations offline and people will actually answer your call. And a question I also have for you is, I don't know if you're aware of this, but that clients are actually 57% of the way through the purchase process before they even pick up the phone or try to email you. So they're doing their due diligence before they actually connect with you. So that's so very important as well, because when you're proactively connecting with people, when people see your brand online, then you're much more likely to build authority and build trust, as long as you're doing this proactively and not reactively, right? So going through the sales funnel from awareness, interest, desire, and action, you want to be helping people, leading people through that sales funnel to ensure that you are providing them with quality content and you are actually the go-to person, the go-to resource that is top of mind when they're looking for someone who's just like you. As I said, our clients are more empowered than ever before. Our prospects are more empowered than ever before. Excuse me, but they're also much more overwhelmed. They're frustrated. You probably know already, when you go online and you're doing your research on something to solve the problem that you might have, sometimes, the information, you get bogged down with even more information than ever before. So as financial advisors, in fact, your job is to be a true advisor, to collaborate with people, to connect with them, to provide them with guidance, and to be that trustworthy alliance with them when they're helping to plan out for their future. So when they're overwhelmed and they don't know who to turn to, again, this is the great way for you to be that touch point, to be that primary person that they go to reach out to. So we're going to go through these individually, the top 5 mistakes that advisors make when they are using social media. I'm not going to go through the list right now because I want to keep things moving along. So number 1 is you're using the wrong social media channels. I've seen this often where an advisor will call me and they'll say, I need to be on Facebook. And my question to them is, why. If they have a good idea as to why they need to be on Facebook, then I'll say, absolutely, let's create a channel there. More often than not, Facebook is more often than not that you're a small fish in a big pond. And what I love about Facebook is it's the world's largest social network. There's over 2 billion people in the world using Facebook. So as far as reach is concerned, that's fantastic. But you have to think about the psychology behind each one of these channels. So one time I went into a meeting and someone said, oh, I was working with this lawyer, I went into this lawyer's office today and they have a Snapchat channel. I was thinking, well, why would they have created a Snapchat channel? Lawyers don't refer other lawyers through Snapchat. It's a wrong kind of social media channel. So instead, thinking about focusing on the right channel is going to help you to save time, setting your goals as to what you want to accomplish and making sure you're not just spinning your wheels. Without getting too much into the weeds of Facebook as well, is unless you're looking at your metrics, you might think that you're reaching everyone who's signed up for you on Facebook. You might think that, oh, I have 100, 200, 300, maybe even 1,000 people that are following me on my Facebook channel, specifically on the company page. But if you look at your metrics, you're not reaching all of those people. In fact, it's probably less than 1% to 2%. So you don't want to spin your wheels and try to be everywhere. You want to just focus in on being in the right place at the right time, which is why I focus on LinkedIn, because quite frankly, that's where the money is, people. So LinkedIn, top line overview. Over 630 million members, again, not the biggest reaching site out of all of the networks. Facebook, over 2 billion, even Instagram has over 1 billion people on there now. So LinkedIn has 630 million members, and it's widely used here in North America specifically, and it has the most affluent demographic. So let me just sort of back up. North America is not where all the members are, obviously, and it's not the most dominant out of all of the countries or the continents on there. But we, as North Americans, we actually lean on this a little bit more, and particularly the members of LinkedIn tend to be more affluent. They tend to be more decision makers. So if you're looking for money and you're looking to do business, this is absolutely the channel you want to be focusing your time and efforts on. HubSpot says that you're 277% more effective or more likely to actually convert business than Facebook or Twitter. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? It's the business network. And 86% of financial advisors who use social media, they report that it's helped them gain an average of $5 million over under assets. The mistake number 2 is not having a strategy in place. This is so very important as well. So I said, it's really important for you to focus on your goals. What are your objectives? Are you looking to just build brand recognition? Are you looking to generate awareness? Or are you looking to actually convert more clients? And what kind of clients are you looking to convert? So making sure that you really dive deep into this is so important. Having a strategy doesn't sound sexy, but unless you actually focus on your goals, you're just going to be just throwing spaghetti up and seeing if it's going to stick, which is why I love this slide. So some of you might be familiar with the Cheshire Cat, who is in Alice in Wonderland. And just to paraphrase the Cheshire Cat, when Alice comes up to the Cheshire Cat on her journey, she says to him, or he says, where would you like to go? And she's like, I don't know. And so the Cheshire Cat says, well, then any path will take you there. Really, if you don't have a direction, if you don't have a strategy on the who, what, when, where, why, and how, then you're just floundering, my friends, unfortunately. So it is important for you to understand who your target audience is, what do they want, where are they hanging out, what kind of information is important and crucial and relevant for them, so that you can get really focused on making sure that you're delivering the right information to them. So again, focus on who's your target audience, and get really granular with this. So as you notice with this, the social media training here, the social selling training, is focused on financial advisors. So I've carved out a little bit of niche and carved out a niche, financial advisors in LinkedIn, even though you can see if you're here and you're not necessarily a financial advisor, it didn't exclude you, but it really helps people feel more connected when you're aligned with the target audience. And when you're aligned with your target audience, you can build rapport, you understand the challenges, you can build up that credibility. So the who and the what, and also knowing your own brand. knowing who you are is very important as well. What makes you different? Why should anybody come and work with you? All of this is part of your story on LinkedIn and really needs to be constructed in the LinkedIn summary, which is now called the About section. You have 2,000 characters to tell that story. I can help you with that if you want. I write LinkedIn profiles for executives. And so really framing up that story so that you're getting those inbound leads is also important. All right, number 3, sending the same generic messages to everyone. This drives me crazy. So you know when you go onto LinkedIn and people send you the hey, or it's just the LinkedIn connection request, which just says, I'd like to connect with you here at LinkedIn. You are missing out on such a huge opportunity to create icebreakers and to connect with people when you're just sending those generic connection requests. So for me, I'm a huge champion of quality connections over quantity connections. Let me just say that again. Quality connections matter to me much more than just quantity connections. And why that's so very important for me is because I don't necessarily want tens of thousands of people in my feed. It's going to give me a bigger, wider audience, certainly if I wanted to blast information out there. But I'm more about connecting one-on-one with people. I'm more about ensuring that the people that I'm connecting with, I'm interested in seeing what's going on with them too. How can I provide value to them? It's not just about me. I want to make sure that I'm providing value to other people as well. And everyone, quite frankly, is not a target audience. This is something that I see over and over again. Some people think that it's a numbers game. If I just get 10 or 15 or 20,000 people to see, it's unbelievable to think that you could even reach that many people. But nobody is the Oprah anymore. There's very, very few people that are going to reach that mass status that is actually going to not only make connections, but it's going to drive conversions. So you don't want to focus on everyone. You just want to focus on the right people. In fact, one of the metaphors I use all the time is you want to fish where the fish are. You want to be where your target audience is, because otherwise, again, you're just spinning your wheels and you're just sort of sending your message out there, and it's not gravitating towards the people who really care about what you have to offer. Something else that's so important is you want to talk with your prospects and your clients. You don't want to talk at them. And this is where marketing has changed so much when social media came about. Traditional media, radio, television, news, and so forth, it really was blasting information at people. And what social media has done to change the game is it provides a two-way dialogue where we are connecting back and forth with our target audience. So this is so very important because I want to connect with people who I am interested in seeing what's going on in their feed, and they're interested in seeing mine as well. So I don't want to just blast at people. I want to really be connecting with them. So instead, personalize your approach. Send a personalized connection request whenever you possibly can. And there's a couple of different ways of doing this. We don't have time to go into a deep dive on this, but anytime you possibly can, if you've met someone in real life, get their business card, then make sure that you're doing your due diligence to say, hey, it was really great meeting you at so-and-so conference or so-and-so meeting. I'd really love to stay in touch with you here on LinkedIn. If you don't know them yet, look through their profiles, see what you can glean. Maybe you have a mutual connection and you can say, hey, I noticed that you also know so-and-so. Isn't that interesting? I know so-and-so from, wherever you know them from. I'd really love to connect with you here on LinkedIn. As simple as that. But every single time you personalize your approach, you're actually building touch points, these micro moments that you have that can actually engage, deepen and build trust with your network. All right. Mistake number 3 is called pitch slapping. I borrowed this from another speaker that I saw using it. I don't think it's been trademarked. And so you definitely don't want to pitch slap. You don't want to lead with a sales pitch from the beginning. Again, you definitely want to engage in those two-way conversations. You want to make sure that there's a need for what you have. I don't know if you've had the same situation, but sometimes I'll reach out and connect with someone on LinkedIn, and right away they're trying to sell me their services without really noticing whether or not there's a need for what they're selling. And one specific situation that actually made me a little crazy was somebody sent me a lovely personalized connection request, which I love, that said right off the hop, hey, Leslie, we help speakers like you publish your own book. Well, if they looked at my profile for 2 seconds, my book is right in the header, right in the cover photo of my profile. It's listed in my profile. If that person had done their due diligence, they would have noticed that I'd already published a book. And maybe it would have been smarter for them to say, hey, Leslie, I noticed that you've already published a book, and we help people like you revise your next edition. I might be more more likely to have a dialogue with someone if they're going to help me better my book, as opposed to pitch me on something that I already have. So hopefully that helps a little bit. All right. Mistake number 4 is expecting that results are going to happen too quickly. I know we're all guilty of this. In fact, I've been in my own business now for 10 years. And I remember for the first at least 5 years, I kept wondering, there's so many people out there that are saying that they can get 10,000 views overnight, or I can get you to the top of the search engine rankings and things like that. And I kept feeling like I was a failure because I wasn't getting those results, that I wasn't seeing this overnight success where I was making 6 figures overnight, or building up a following of tens of thousands of people in like 6 days. And so, I kept thinking, like, what is wrong with me? Why am I not achieving this kind of success that all these other marketers are out there getting famous for? Well, I found out as my business started to grow that really nothing is an overnight success. In fact, all those people who claim to have overnight success have been years and years and years in the making. So it's really important to take those baby steps. It's important to schedule time into your calendar and to do, just a little bit every day, because you'll notice if you do a little bit over time, then you will produce results in the long term. And so just don't worry. Don't look at anybody else, their successes. I know I used to have a habit of doing this, was looking at people that were in my competitive landscape and sort of feeling sorry for myself that I wasn't at the level that they were at, or thinking that they were doing so much better than I was, and kind of beating myself up for it. And I had to come to terms with, you have to run your own race. You can't look at anybody else around you to gauge their success based on your success. In fact, you'd be surprised that a lot of people are just sort of making this stuff up as we go. So just do your due diligence. Definitely schedule time in your calendar to spend time going into LinkedIn, to doing your research, to connecting with people, to reconnecting with people. Because at the end of the day, we're connecting human to human and not just computer to computer. So this is very important. Okay, so I've gone through those very, very quickly, and I'm going to loop back at the end to sort of recover them again. If you have any questions, start writing them into the group chat. Hopefully you can see them. And so I want to talk a little bit about an opportunity for you for this online training that I have put together that goes even deeper than the information I have just shared with you today. So as I said, my book is the Create, Connect, Convert, which is create a solid first impression, connect with quality people, top tier prospective clients, and ultimately convert, whether you're looking to convert through brand awareness or you're looking to build more business for yourself. And so it's at socialmediaeschool.com, where I have this program that is a 3-module program targeted to financial advisors. Again, it's got the case studies really in there are for financial advisors, but it does apply to anybody. And this 3-module program has been really broken down into those 3 core, create, connect, and convert, so that you can learn exactly how to do all of the next steps that I've just alluded to right here. And so it's really, so let me just sort of go through some of the modules. So in the level 101, the first module, sort of the create, is to really identify your audience. This really framework as a strategy of who is your target audience. And there's exercises within the training to get really a lot of clarity on your ideal persona. Who do you want to connect with? We'll talk a little bit also about, again, why is social selling so important? We've covered some of that already today, and why and how you need to audit your digital footprint. I don't know if you've ever Googled yourself. This is so crucial because you want to see how other people see you through their lens. We're going to talk about the key areas that you need to focus on to get to 100% completion, and the 3 key areas you really need to focus on. Actually, the 3 key areas you need to focus on just to get started. The 3 crucial areas you need to focus on are your photo, your headline, and your summary. Those are very, very, very important. Your photo, your headline, and your summary are the 3 key areas. And then you want to get to 100% completion of your profile, because it's actually going to provide you with 40 times more opportunities, according to LinkedIn anyway. I'll also show you in that video how to purge or delete connections. If you've got people in your network that you don't want to connect with, then you can purge or delete those as well. In the module 2, then we're going to go even bigger insofar as developing. I'm going to provide you with the right etiquette so that you can build those quality connections. We're going to develop a larger audience for you and help to foster those relationships. And etiquette is so very important on this channel. I think we or probably underestimate and overlook how much it is important to connect with human beings as if we're connecting face to face, but using an online channel in order to build out that network. So some of the proper ways to respond, when you get those connection requests from people that you don't know, and you're like, well, who is this person? Why do they want to connect with me? Well, we'll focus a little bit about how to respond to them in a very polite way that doesn't get them ticked off. And also how to extend the reach of your brand through status updates. And the last module in this 3-set program is to really help to then extend yourself and showcase yourself as an expert through publishing status updates, building a content calendar. If you're in financial advisory, then you want to get that content calendar. You want to get it approved by compliance, and some of the best practices on how to do this with time management tips and tailoring content and getting to the nitty-gritty of focusing on the right target audience at the right time, and also, again, more tips for managing your time online as well. Now, the program itself is as you can tell, I go fast and furious. So this isn't for anybody that's going to dilly-dally. This is for let's get in and let's get at the nitty-gritty, and I go pretty fast. So the great part about the program is you have unlimited 24 access to the content where you can pause it and rewind it and make sure that you captured all the information. The worksheets that are there to really help you implement what is going through in the program as well. The free updates, you're going to have access to me. There's quality support. There's a lot of different things that you're going to be able to take advantage of in this program. And the other part about it is I've tried to do it in the shortest time possible. So each module is under a half hour. I think most of them are actually, all 3 of them, I think, are 20, 25 minutes. So they're just little bursts of information going really fast and furious, but I'm really excited about helping you gain traction. And this isn't for someone who just want to look around. This is for people who really, really want to make a difference in their business. So this is something that's really important. You have a 60-day guarantee that if you decide this program isn't really right for me, you have 60 days to take advantage of the program. So it's pretty much risk-free. The only requirement is I want you to submit your homework assignments, those worksheets. You have to submit them to get your money back. And the reason for that is only because I believe in this program so much that I believe that if you do the work, you will make a difference. And I stand by this wholeheartedly. So I just want people that are going to come on board that are willing to do the work. Again, once you get in there and once you're doing the work, you have lifetime access to this. This is, however long it takes you to actually complete the program is fine. But if you're sort of just looking around and dilly-dallying and sort of like, I don't know if I really want to do this, this probably isn't a program for you. I really want people that are really, really willing to dive in and take action and so forth. And I really want to help you on your journey to success as well. This is really, really important to me. All right, so what's the investment? Well, depending on where you are in your journey to success, that 3-module program, you could buy a module on its own. So you could buy module 1, module 2, or module 3 for $199 Canadian. So you could go that direction of buying them individually, or you could buy the complete package for only $499. So I think that's a great value because you get a little bit of discount when you buy all 3, and it helps you with an overarching strategy that takes you in a very short time from stem to stern, from 0 to hero, for only $499. And because you guys are on here today, and I'm so excited, I have a fast action bonus, which includes a 20-minute one-on-one with me. And what I'll do in that 20 minutes is audit your online presence. I'll go your LinkedIn profile. I'll work with you. We'll set up a Zoom call like this where we can work together. I'll look at your profile. I'll provide you with some tips on where you could go next. We'll review that, and you have access to ask any questions you want. So if you take action today, it's within the next 24 hours that you have to take action in order to buy the program. So if you have any questions about all this, then definitely email me, Leslie@punchmedia.ca. I'll give you my email address again, and I'll be able to help you facilitate this, okay? All right. So I told you to stick around to the very end, and I haven't been watching the clock, so I'm sure that I've gone through this in a very short period of time. I gave myself an hour, but it's only 1:30 already, and I've gone through all of this really, really quickly. I know you're probably either on your lunch hour or just after, so again, that's why I've gone through this very, very quickly. I'll round up, again, all the things that I've covered just so that we make sure that you haven't missed anything. But here's my email address, Leslie@punchmedia.ca. please email me. As I said, if you stuck around to the very end, then you can email me for the freebie worksheet. I put together a worksheet that helps you go through each one of these steps, each one of these so-called mistakes, and so that you can help sort of reframe those mistakes into success. So please go ahead and email me at leslie@punchmedia.ca and say, please, Leslie, will you send me that freebie worksheet? All right. So to wrap things up, fast and furious is we talked about using the right social media sites. Again, do not spend so much time worrying about being everywhere. Everyone is not a strategy. Everywhere is not a strategy. You have to be at the right place at the right time. So hopefully that makes your shoulders come down a little bit, because I know it's overwhelming for me. I've been in the digital landscape for over 20 years, and I've been teaching social media for over 10 years. And it's overwhelming for me. I cannot possibly stay on top of all these channels. So for me, that's why I went with LinkedIn. I'm really, really, I consider myself to be an expert. I'm doing a really good deep dive on LinkedIn, understanding the nuances of how to use this channel. So instead of just blasting out at everybody and hoping that it's going to stick, it really is about building and nurturing those relationships. So again, developing that strategy, understanding who you want to connect with, and measuring your results against that. I mean, quite frankly, I don't love numbers very much. Like, I'm not an accountant, a bookkeeper, any of those kinds of things, but I know measuring your metrics really matters. You have to look at the numbers of where are people coming through your sales funnel. In fact, this is a part of the program as well, is understanding your client journey, understand the prospect journey, and how did they get to where you are? What process did they take? Did they have a problem? Did they ask someone? Where are your referrals coming from? Measuring against that, and some of them are going to be measurable, some of them aren't going to be measurable. So it is important to really develop that strategy, because then you can replicate success. Then it becomes a system for yourself. You want to personalize your approach. You want to make sure that you are connecting with a human being. And this is more important than you would ever think it would be, is to recognize that on the other side of the computer, and I mean, right now I am speaking into a camera. I'm not dealing with people face to face. And this is hard. I can tell you, it's taken me a few times to put on webinars, to come to the table with a little bit more energy and pretend like I'm speaking to you face to face, even though I can't see your lovely face right now, to personalize your approach, because that's what's going to help build rapport. That's what's going to build trust. There's a book, a speaker's agent, or not a speaker's agent, but a speaker's coach by the name of Michael Port, that came out with a book. And a quote that he said that I just love is that and it's just paraphrased, the amount that people will invest with you is directly proportionate to the amount that they trust you. Let me say that again. The amount that people will invest with you is directly proportionate to the amount that they trust you. And why that's so important is because you have to build trust and rapport. And the only way you're going to do that from both an inbound and an outbound perspective is to personalize it, to build rapport and deal with people as if you were dealing with them face to face. And that includes two-way conversations. Remember that this isn't just me talking to you. I invited you to connect with me on any social channel that I have. Please reach out and connect with me. Email is perfectly fine. In fact, I wanted to basically make the disclosure too. When you're emailing me for this worksheet or anything else, I'm not going to add you to an email list or anything like that. This is just a connection between yourself and myself, because I hate being added to newsletter lists and starting to get spammed and on things like that. So I'm not interested in doing that to you. And so this is why it's important that, again, that you're reaching out and connecting directly with me at my email address. And the last tip is to really schedule the time, stay the course, because you'll notice that just like you probably do in your own business, success wasn't achieved overnight, that it takes time. It's micro moment upon micro moment, connection upon connection, and building thought leadership, which in the course we talk a little bit about how to do that by scheduling like status updates, by sharing your thought leadership, staying top of mind. I'm stealing this from another author by the name of Jonah Berger, who said that top of mind is tip of tongue. And you really want to make sure that you're sharing the relevant content is so very important. Sharing relevant content with the right audience so that it builds rapport and builds trust. So if you have any last minute questions, I'm here for you. I don't see anybody asking any questions. So hopefully this information has been really helpful for you. And I'm glad that I haven't taken up too much of your time. So we certainly haven't gone over the hour. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. And if we haven't met before, I look forward to connecting with you. My LinkedIn account, the URL is there for you. So again, personalize that connection request. Tell me that you were on today's webinar if we haven't connected already. If I already do know you and you join the webinar, send me a thumbs up online to say whether you liked it or not, or any feedback. I'm receptive to any kind of constructive criticism on anything that I could do better. And I'm sure that the number one criticism would be, Leslie, slow down. I get that a lot. I go really fast and furious. I think my brain processes information far too quickly. So I have a tendency of going really quickly, and I'm a little bit nervous too, because I don't usually do webinars like this. So this is the first time I've done this kind of webinar for on my own without having sort of sidekick in a long time. So thank you for your patience with me going really, really quickly through this process. Again, email me, Leslie@punchmedia.ca, and I look forward to connecting with you really, really soon. Bye for now.